Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Reading from Canto 10, Chapter 68, The Marriage of Samba, text 38 to 41. And read the verses and translation. Text number 38. Bhunjate Gurubhir Dattam Bhukhandam Vishnaya Kila Upanaha Kila Vayam Swayam Tu Kuravasriya. Translation. We Vrishnis enjoy only whatever small parcel of land the Kurus allow us, and we indeed shoes, whereas the Kurus are the head. Question. Text 39. Aho Aishwarya Mattanam Iva Maninam Asambadha Girorsha Kasaheta Sasita. Just see how these puffed up Kurus are intoxicated with their so-called power like ordinary drunken men. What actual ruler with the power to command would tolerate these foolish, nasty words? Question mark again. Text number 40. Adyanish Kauravam Prithvim Karisyamiti Amarshita Ritvahalam Uttastau Dahana Niva Jagatrayam. Today I shall rid the earth of the Kurus, declared the furious Balaram. Thus he took his plough weapon and rose up as if to set the three worlds ablaze. Text 41. Nangalagirina nagaram udvidraya goja ayam visaksha chatkarsacha gangayam praharisyan amarsita. The Lord angrily dug up Hastinapura with the tip of his plough and began to drag it, intending to cast the entire city into the Ganges. Purport. Srila Prabhupada writes as follows. Lord Balaram seemed so furious that he looked as if he could burn the whole cosmic creation to ashes. He stood up steadily and taking his plough in his hand, began striking the earth within. In this way, the whole city of Hastinapura was separated from the earth. Lord Balaram then began to drag the whole city towards the flowing water of the river Ganges. Because of this, there was a great tremor throughout Hastinapura. And if there had been an earthquake, and it seemed that the whole city would be diminished. Sri Vishwanath Thakur states that by the Lord's desire, his plough had increased in size, and that as Balaram began dragging Hastinapur towards the water, he ordered the Ganges. Except for Samba, you should attack and kill everyone in the city without water, with your water. Thus, he would fulfill his promise to rid the earth of Kurus, of Kauravas, while making sure that nothing would happen to Samba. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauravaste He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Radha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyayeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, I seek blessings of all the dissembled devotees. I'm audible, right? All can hear online. Okay. So in these verses, we see the response of Balaram when Balaram asked the Kauravas to return Samba and Lakshmana. As we know, Samba tried to kidnap Lakshmana. Lakshmana is daughter of Duryodhana, and Samba is daughter of Jambavati and Krishna, son of Jambavati and Krishna. Just because they Kauravas, though they are very good fit, Samba and Lakshmana, but just because Kauravas didn't approve the marriage, they don't want to, because Samba forcefully took Lakshmana away from Swayamvara, so they didn't want to approve this marriage, and they deceitfully have defeated Samba and kidnapped him and caught him as a prisoner. They kept him. So seeing this, Balram comes here to Hastinapura, and he asks humbly, why there should be a war? Because Yadavas, they were ready to wage a war and take Samba and Lakshmana back to Dwarka. But Balram said, okay, I'll just ask because he's good friends with Kauravas. He comes and asks, but Kauravas are telling that now, from when this shoe have started sitting on the head, because shoe is supposed to be on legs. Legs means like in a humble position. Legs are bottom, humble position. So the Yadavas should be in humble position, but they are commanding us that what to do. That Kauravas insulted Balram and Yadavas. And Balram is very angrily speaking these verses. Like he's telling how. So you are telling, he's angrily is asking, you think we are shoes? He's asking that, that you are thinking that, we are all, we Vrishnis enjoy only whatever small parcel of land the Kurus allow us. And we are indeed shoes, whereas the Kauravas are the head. So he's telling that. So if you see, earlier Yadavas were in Mathura. They were ruling in Mathura, Ugrasena and Yadavas. And the Kurus, Kauravas, they are Hastinapur. So Hastinapur is considered as the capital at that time. And they are called the emperors, Hastinapur. And the Yadavas, they are ruling in a small city, Mathura, earlier. They are like the normal kings who are subordinate to the emperor. And that was the arrangement. So, being emperors, Kauravas, they always thought that all other kings, they are all subordinate and they should all obey to us. But they didn't understand that Krishna and Balram are above the emperors. Right? So how they saw with their own eyes how Krishna overnight he has created Dwarka city, and he has transferred all the Yadavas. They left Mathura, they went to Dwarka city, and Dwarka city is more opulent than Hastinapur. It's like more opulent than Indra's heavenly kingdom. So, but they still have that mentality because Prabhupada quotes this, this thing, this naked Pencho. Prabhupada says the story. So there is this person called Pencho. He is as a child, as a child in India, sometimes children they are running in the streets without clothes, just to play and all like that. Sometimes they just because nowadays everybody is with cell phones, all children are with cell phones and all, they are not distracted. But not many vehicles, like cars and motorcycles at that time, this earlier, like a century back. Children would run in the streets to play and all, and sometimes, they would run without clothes, where the Pencho is a small boy. Yeah, small, the toddler, so he's running in the streets. And then as he grew up, he studied and all, he became a judge. But the neighbors, they always referred him as naked Pencho. And they were afraid, this naked Pencho, he became judge, how is it possible like that? So like that, so this Kauravas also, these Yadavas, they were just south of us, the small city of Mathura. How is that they are commanding us now? Like that. Why? Because Balaram is telling here. They are telling, Balaram is telling that because we Vrishnis enjoy only whatever small parcel of land the Kaurava Kurus allow. Because this emperor, they allowed us, Vrishnis, Yadavas, after this Kamsa was killed and all, they allowed Ugrasen to rule Mathura. They gave a small land to rule. So they are thinking that still they are subordinate to us. How can they command us? Why? Here it's mentioned that Aho Aishwarya Mattanam iva Maninam. So they have Matta, means intoxicated. So the Kauravas are intoxicated with Aishwarya, with the wealth. And with Maninam, with the pride. The pride also, they are Mattanam. So this word Mattanam is used twice in this verse. To say that how they are intoxicated with both wealth and pride. Pride that they are the emperors. And then because emperor, they get a lot of wealth. All the kings have to pay them wealth to be subordinate. And then they have a lot of wealth. They are like practically the wealthiest kingdom. So with that wealth and with that pride, they think that nobody is above them. So intoxicated like drunken. Balaram is telling that. They're intoxicated and asambadha. And they are speaking this asambadha gira, means this incoherent and absurd words. So when a person is intoxicated, we see that they're babbling. They don't know what they're speaking. They're speaking something, so many times. Because they're completely intoxicated. Their mind is not, their intelligence is gone. That's why we follow 4 regulative principles. But we always remain sane. And we always, our mind intelligence is always sane and always worship Krishna. But here, when intoxication happens, they're intoxicated. Intoxication can happen too by consuming some substance or some intoxicating substance, or here intoxicated because of the power and the pride. So they are then he's telling that what actual ruler with the power to command would tolerate their foolish nasty words. Balaram is asking. What actual ruler? Actual ruler is Krishna, is the Supreme Lord. But because they are intoxicated, they are not able to recognize the supremacy of Krishna and Balaram. Like today morning, our Manohar Prabhu is reading from Srila Prabhupada. Remember what you read, Manohar Prabhu?
Yeah, that's one must be established in love of Godhead.
Okay. What else you read?
Without love of God and even proximity or like coming directly in touch with Krishna is not.
Yeah, so Prabhupada is quoting, is telling that when Krishna appeared in this world, on this planet, there were many in proximity with Krishna. They were all seeing Krishna and Balaram. But because they didn't have love of Godhead, they didn't acknowledge, they didn't recognize Krishna as the Supreme Lord. The same thing here. Here it is, these Kauravas. They are seeing Krishna. Actually, they saw Krishna from childhood, like from 8 years, because he was Vrindavan. At that time, they didn't see, but as he came Madhura, and he killed Kamsa actually, and then he has established the order, and he actually established Hastinapur. They gave them that emperor status actually. Otherwise, Kamsa was like kind of emperor earlier. But Krishna gave that status, but Krishna and Balaram, but they completely forgot being the intoxicated state. So we see sometimes also, with devotees, when we get some position and we get some things and all, we forget. Our devotional service slackens. It happens because we don't realize where we are, what we are coming from. Before our coming to devotional service, what is our position? We don't realize that. How much we were suffering this material nature. How much endeavors we went through, and how devotional service have relieved us. Bhava Maha Davagni Nirvapanam. We sing every day. Chetodarpanam Ajna Bhava Maha Davagni Nirvapanam. So it's like in the forest fire, we were scorching heat, we were so much troubled, but devotional service after coming, the Sriya Kairava Chandrika, the moon, the cooling moon rays, gave us that shelter. But once if you are not humble, so like the Kauravas here, and if we don't recognize our position, and we get intoxicated with our current state, whatever, like, okay, I am so senior devotee, I am so much have position, or I am so. If you have this, this intoxication, then what happens? And again, we will fall into Maya, again fall into that same thing here. So they attracted the wrath of Balaram, the anger of Balaram, that Balaram wanted to destroy them. So because of this intoxication. So in first canto, Kunti Maharani, in her prayers, she says there are 4 things that makes one intoxicated. Now she's telling Janma, high birth. And then the high birth, aristocratic family, high birth. Aishwarya, wealth. And Shruta. Shruta is education. And then Shribi, and then it is beauty. These 4 things she's telling that Janma Aishwarya Shruta Shribi Redamana Madapuma Navayarati Abhidatum Vai Tvama Kinchana Gocharam. He's telling that these 4 things, Yedamana Madapuman, where is Mada is used, Mada, which Balram is telling about Matta, they are all similar words, Mada, Matta. So Mada means intoxication again. So when these 4 things are there, a person becomes intoxicated. When these four things increase, Edamana means they are increasing. They are increasing. A person is born without all this, born is there, birth is there, but wealth and all he acquires, they increase over the time, they acquire. And what happens? The person becomes intoxicated also. So when intoxicated, then person cannot feelingly call out names of Krishna Govinda, because of the intoxication. And she's telling that, "O Lord, Swam Akinchana Gocharam, you are only approached easily by materially exhausted man." So we see the whole world is behind these four things. Those who they want to have high position, birth means position, or you can say high. Janma Aishwarya is wealth. Everybody is running behind wealth. Aishwarya, education, and beauty. If these four things are there, they become famous personalities. That's what everybody wants to. Because they think that if you have four things, I'll be very happy. But they don't know that to get these four things or any one-off thing, how much effort we put, that happiness goes out of the window. And even if when we're going to get this, to maintain that, one has to keep working hard. Otherwise, all the famous personalities would be the celebrities, and famous personalities would be the happiest person in the world. But no, they are very miserable. Most of them are miserable. And they take, different things, like they take shelter of different intoxicants and different things. But the whole world is running towards these four things, Janmaishwara Shatashridhi, so that to become to be in that intoxicated state. It is nice, people, they forget everything in intoxication. That's why people get intoxicated, because you forget the reality. So when one has this wealth and education and beauty and all these things, and then one forgets the reality that everything is temporary. Everything will go away, because anything in this world is temporary. All these positions, all this wealth or education, either it will go away when we are alive, or death will take everything. But in intoxicated state, we can forget that reality. Okay, death will take everything, or our ability in the body will go away as we get old. So when one becomes intoxicated, they will forget all this, the reality of the flickering nature of this material world, and that will make them to so-called enjoyment of these four things. They try to enjoy that, thinking that this is the happiness. But it is like Prabhupada says, it is like licking honey outside of the bottle. Honey is sweeter, but it is, when you open the bottle and taste it, that is sweet, but licking outside, it is not. So the happiness, cheating themselves, thinking that no, these things will make me happy. So here we see the Kauravas also, they are completely intoxicated, because they are with this wealth, and then they are challenging, or they are telling Balaram, and they are actually abusing with words, abusive words to Balaram. So Balaram wants to destroy them, and he's telling, "Today I shall rid the earth of Kauravas," declared the furious Balaram. Thus he took his plough weapon and rose up as if to set the three worlds ablaze. So when Balaram becomes angry, then very difficult, because he becomes angry very fast. And then he wanted to submerge the whole city of Hastinapur in the Ganges. It's mentioned here, Vishwanath Chakra Thakur, he says, Balram's by his desire, the size of his plough increased. Balram has his plough. So it increased. Balaram didn't increase his size, but his plow size increased. We see Krishna also, when he lifted Govardhan, he didn't increase his size. He's same, 7-year-old boy. When he killed Putana, when he killed all the different demons, he didn't increase his size. He's same. Aghasur was so big, still Krishna was same. He's same. So Balaram also, he didn't increase size because he's Supreme Personality of Godhead. We see other avatars like Matsya. He came and increased his size. Varaha, he also kind of increased his size like that. Because they are the expansions of the Supreme Lord. But Krishna and Balaram, they can manifest in that same size all these wonderful features. So he increased the size of his plow. Now we can see that in this modern technological advancement, now we can move the whole building from one place to another. Right? The technology is so advanced that they can lift up this whole building, or they can lift up a whole city block, and then they can move from one place to another. But they have this heavy machinery. They have different engineering technology and engineering sciences. They have this heavy machinery. They move things. The cities. How they can build a whole city that can float in the ocean. These big ships, cruise ships and all, they are like a city actually. They can, thousands of people stay in that, they can float in the ocean like that. So if the modern technology can allow like this, what to speak of Balaram technology, the spiritual technology. It is very subtle, that's how it is. He just increased the size of his plow, Balaram, and Balaram has full strength. Then he just, with his plow, he separated Hastinapur from earth. And he lifted it and wanted to submerge it in the Ganges water. We can even see, Ganges would have been like very wide river and very deep river. It looks like, like at that time. Okay. Now we see Ganges is not so wide, but it is a very big wide river. So he wanted to submerge that city. We can see the power of Balaram. Balaram's strength is that with his plow, he single-handedly could lift the whole city. So he began to drag the city toward the flowing of water. And then in Hastinapur, there were like great tremors were felt, and there were like earthquake. And the whole city looks like it got dismantled. So then Kauravas came to their senses. Of course, in the next verses it is there. But coming back to the point that when one is intoxicated, it took some tremors like this, some earthquake and tremors, for them to come out of intoxication. Now we also see in our lives, when we become devotees, they become intoxicated with their nice things and the easy going. Some tremors come. Krishna gives that, mercy. And when we're very much intoxicated with wealth and all, Krishna arranges that wealth goes away. Whatever attachments we have, for a devotee, Krishna orchestrates that the attachment goes away. Be sincere. It is praying sincerely and is practicing. Krishna orchestrates. So a devotee prays that I have this attachment, I have this weakness. Please remove me, remove this attachment or remove this weakness. The devotee prays, and Krishna arranges because of sincerity. Even if devotee is not sincere, is not praying, but still, if somebody is intoxicated, Krishna still arranges. The only way, the earlier, if you pray, Krishna's arrangement, we accept it wholeheartedly with folded palms. Okay, Krishna, this is for my purification, this is for my good. But when we are not in that humble situation, in humble state, then we see that it's like an earthquake, like a tremor, like how the Kauravas are feeling now. And then still, choice, we have choice whether to take shelter of Krishna or to run shelter to take shelter of something else. Shelter to take shelter of again this wealth and this education or beauty or this high birth, all these things. Again, it's our choice. But Krishna always arranges for this tremors to come for our purification. For purification, Krishna arranges. Because Krishna wants to give us the ultimate good. That is the Ananya Bhakti, pure devotional service. So for that, Krishna does whatever it takes. If it has to make us completely impoverished, he will do it. Or if it requires one to become very wealthy, he gives that wealth. But Tvam Akinchana Gocharam, like Krishna is the property of impoverished. Kunti Maharani is telling that those who have nothing, they have only Krishna to take shelter of. We see in some devotees' lives also when nothing, everything, most of the things go away and then nothing goes as per the plan. They run towards shelter of Krishna. So Krishna is the property of impoverished. Not property of wealthy, intoxicated people or intoxicated with pride. Indra has full pride that I am the king of heaven. And he thought that, like these Brajavasis, they are not paying their puja, their homage to me. I am providing them all these rains, but they are not providing me the puja, the homage. He became intoxicated with pride. And then he wanted to destroy Vrindavan. And Krishna crushed his pride by lifting Govardhan hill. A small boy, 7-year-old boy, lifting Govardhan hill, and Indra couldn't do anything. And his pride got crushed. So Krishna doesn't like the pride in his devotees. So he arranges to remove that pride. So here also, Balaram didn't like the pride in Kauravas. But Balaram, though Kauravas, actually Kauravas are like demons. That's why Krishna eliminate them. All of them. But Balaram didn't see that. Balaram was always friends with them because Balaram is very merciful. He is the supreme spiritual master. The spiritual master is merciful to intoxicated disciple also, or who is in pride, and a humble disciple also. His mercy is for both. Like that, Balaram wants to give that mercy to Kauravas also. That's why he is removing that pride. Krishna, okay, these are gone case. Krishna just removed them from the earth with the Kurukshetra war. But Balaram, he didn't want to participate in the war. He went to pilgrimage, later comes in later chapters. But he just wanted to remove that pride by showing his prowess. So next week we'll be celebrating Balaram Jayanti. Because Balaram is that merciful Lord who sees good in everyone. And he sees what are the unwanted things and he arranges to remove. That's why he's Supreme Spiritual Master. And Spiritual Master also does the same thing. That when a disciple becomes proud, he removes that. With one last thing I'll end here, this 10 minutes we have. So we see that once Tamal Krishna Maharaj, at that time, Prabhupada's, he is a very successful preacher. He had this Radha Damodar bus party and then he was very successful. So many devotees were being made every day. He was traveling everywhere. And then kind of that spiritual pride came in. And then he was thinking that all these temple presidents, they were just staying in one place and all this. So sometimes he would criticize them. And then he would go to different temple and take away all the brahmacharis in his bus party. And Prabhupada didn't like it. And then Prabhupada called Tamal Krishna Maharaj and said that he was already sannyas. And then he says, basically he told that to to remove his pride, Prabhupada said, go to China, preach in China. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj went to China, preach there. And through him, in China, that till then, China, nobody went there. Through him, new avenue started preaching there. So Prabhupada engaged Tamal Krishna Maharaj, even when he was in so-called pride state, he engaged properly in the devotional service. Like that, the spiritual master plays that role in removing our pride. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for giving class. My question is in relation to that spiritual master, how does one kind of interact with the instruction on that level, like how we see with Balaram?
Sorry, last week.
Like how we see with Balaram.
So with Balaram, okay.
Yeah, like how do we interact with that that instruction from the spiritual master?
Yeah, like Balaram is supreme spiritual master, and he gave instruction to return Lakshmana and Samba. They didn't do. So Balaram is teaching them a lesson. So spiritual master also sees that if we are your instruction, if you are not able to follow, Krishna inspires him what to do, so that we can follow that. If somebody is really not want to follow at all, spiritual master also leaves, because free will is again, they don't interfere. Krishna or spiritual master, they don't interfere. But as long as we have that willingness. Because Kauravas also, they had willingness. When Balram came and camped outside the city, in the garden outside the city, they came to Balram and they worshipped him actually. And they spoke pleasant words and all. So they had that respect for Balram, not that like that. But some instruction they were not able to follow because of the pride. And then Balram did that surgery or did that thing to remove the pride. Spiritual master also does that. When you are still taking shelter of spiritual master and we are still ready to follow instructions, if any pride or anything is there, like Prabhupada or Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he's completely surrendered soul to Prabhupada, Tamal Krishna Maharaj fully. But just that the way he is serving was a little different. So Prabhupada engaged him in that way.
Thank you.
Something else? Online.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Just a kind of off topic a little bit, but something that happened yesterday. We have guests and we try to share with them the path of devotional service. And there was one guest there yesterday, and I wanted to go downstairs and take prasadam. But I could see the elderly lady, she just looked kind of alone. I felt the only way I can say it, I didn't have what it takes to go talk to her. Because one thing, you have the guests there, but you don't really give them your time and attention. Das is very good at that, speaking to people. And I seriously had to pray to Krishna, Krishna, help me somehow or other care for this person. So I put my prasadam down. How are you? I could see, like a lost, drowning person. When I said, how are you? People are basically drowning in their own minds, and just that breaking the ice and saying, how are you? She said, okay. I said, you're getting around the city okay? She said, yeah. Thank you very much for coming out and helping to distribute Krishna prasadam for the homeless yesterday. You did such a nice job out there. It was still like, I wanted to go take prasadam and go to sleep. But praying to Krishna to help me to begin the conversation. We had a little, and I gave her a book. And she told us that her partner had left this world 8 years ago. I gave her the book, Coming Back. You've seen that book? Nice book about reincarnation. She told us that her partner had left this world 8 years ago, and she's been alone and coming all the way from Australia, right?
Yeah, Melbourne.
Where?
Melbourne.
Melbourne, Australia. All alone, older lady, you know, going around the city alone. And, but Krishna helped me to open a conversation with her and to give her a book. And she was so grateful for that tiny little bit of care. But I really had to squeeze it out. So just a testimony of something that happened. I was tempted to say, Haribol, and go eat and go to sleep. But Krishna let me care for her in some small way. And we're trying to please. Krishna says, no one is more dear to me than one who shares this message with others. So we're called upon to do that. And it's not always easy, but Krishna will be pleased if we try. And if we ask him to help us, he will. Anyway, I'm not sure how that all connects to this situation where these people are completely inimical to Krishna and hateful and antagonistic, and then Balaram has to smash them, you know. But on the other hand, besides the instances when people need to be smashed, most people need to be cared for, the innocent. So we'll try to please Krishna like that. Over to Srila Prabhupada.
No one is more dear to Krishna than hungry and tired Adipusha Prabhu, who is still spreading his glories on behalf of Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Adipusha Prabhu.
We can all do that.
I had another question. How it seems like spiritual life can be very nuanced in that emotions aren't meant to be repressed, but they're not supposed to be expressed in a conditioned state. For example, Balaram expresses anger, but we understand it's not material anger. It's divine anger. So how do we kind of learn from his example of expressing emotions in a spiritual way?
Yeah, his anger made all good. You know, his anger. He didn't actually threw the city into the river. He just lifted. Then, as they understood, they brought Samba and Lakshmana to him, and then he pays for it. He became very peaceful. So Balram can manifest anger like that, and then he can also become he can go away with the anger. He can his anger goes away very immediately also. But our emotions are not like that. If we become angry, our emotion, they stay. Then we do harm to ourselves or others. We cannot immediately say, okay, now I became angry now. Within 5 minutes, I'll be normal. No, it's not because that's where we can say different. What I'm just trying to correlate the difference. How we can see that, if our emotions, if they are causing harm, if we know that they are going to cause harm, and we can immediately subdue our emotions, then it's spiritual. But generally that's not the case. Can discuss more, but
Thank you. Shri Radha Murida Gaur Chanchana Sura Bhagavan Ki Jai. Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna, welcome to the Afterglow, everybody. It was a wonderful class by Sundarnath Prabhu, who's a very qualified devotee. He does a lot of service for the Bhakti Center. He keeps the machine lubricated and oiled. He makes sure everything is functioning smoothly in the temple. Does a lot of service in the back, on the back end of things, our Sundarnath Prabhu. So would anyone like to ask a question or share a reflection? Does a Vaishnava have to be poor, retarded, ugly, and come from a dysfunctional family? Is that the qualification for bhakti? That's the question. Anonymous question. Bhima Prabhu, you want to answer that? What's the qualification for bhakti? Is that the qualification? I see some movement, Bhima Prabhu. Okay, I see you.
That's funny that you should call upon me. I can only speak from my personal experience, because that's the only thing that's real to me. And that is that it's not that you necessarily have to be impoverished, but you have to feel impoverished. You have to realize that nothing is going to last. Everything is going to be taken away. No one gets out of here alive. The trees die, the grass dies. For everything, there's a season. Animals die, people die, even the sun burns itself out. And yet we always have to pay attention to that. That's what Nishkinchana means. There's nothing we own. It doesn't mean that we don't appreciate and hold dear those who are dear to us and take care of them and work as if they are ours. That would be our family, our children, our friends, our devotee association. That doesn't mean that we callously reject the fact that there are others. And responsibilities, which is, of course, the essential Bhagavad Gita, which is, hey, guess what? You still got to work hard, but it's in Krishna's hands. This is all Krishna's. I can't remember who was saying, maybe it was Maharaj, Radhanath Maharaj said, there's only two things in this universe. There's only two things in existence, and that is Krishna and Krishna's. That's Krishna with an apostrophe S. There's Krishna, and then there is everything that is Krishna's. So Nishkinchana means, and there's only one way to pure bhakti, and that is to understand that everything we do, all that we see, all that we hear, all that we taste, all that we offer, all the work that we do, ultimately, whether we know it or not, or whether we are voluntarily giving over with our heart and devotion, even if we're not, Krishna still reaps the reward. Krishna will not be cheated. Of gamblers, I am the cheat. He always wins. If we took a gamble coming into the material world, and in this material world we're being made fools of, and then eventually we wake up, jeev jago, and then we surrender. We surrender. They don't say, and then we work hard to be celibate and be strict and learn shlokas and do great things, because nothing we do in this world is great, because after all, it all just disappears. So Nishkinchana is a very important, impoverished of spirit, the poor of spirit, Christ said, are those who enter the kingdom of heaven. Because we're not holding on to anything in this illusion called this world. Anyways, that's my own experience, constantly being reminded how much like a drop on a lotus leaf that we are. Hare Krishna.
Wow, Bhima Prabhu, you sound so sober, so grave. Are you having a good day in Bhakti?
I'm having a sobering day in Bhakti.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. I had an interaction with a person yesterday at the basketball court, and he said, "So how are you doing?" I said, "I'm better than I deserve." And he said, "Oh, that's negative. That's negative." I said, "Why? I'm just feeling blessed. I'm grateful for every breath I take." And he said, "Oh, that's you're too negative. That's pessimistic. That means your life sucks." No. That's what he told me. That means your life is boring and you're just he said, I said, but look around, there's kind of death everywhere. The sun is gonna burn itself out eventually. And he said, no, bad things. And he said, no, look at you. You are all right. I am all right. All those negative things, all those crimes, they happen to people on the news. They're not real. He told me literally. It was an interesting conversation. But I could see how he was moved and touched internally by some of the things that I said. He didn't admit that he was moved or touched, and he kept on saying how what I said was negative, but I could see that he was touched. So I'm gonna continue my interaction with this person. His name is Greg. He's a good guy, and I'll report back how it's going. And I wish Bhima Prabhu was there with me doing pull-ups. We could both defeat him, right, Bhima Prabhu, you and me.
Speaking about defeat, and it is funny because it happens in Krishna consciousness all the time. Krishna slaps us a little bit, at least to me. Once again, I'm speaking from experience. I only learn by virtue of a backhand. Um, Mike Tyson, if anybody is familiar with who Mike Tyson is, would knock out people left and right. Somebody came into a fight with him and says, "I've got a plan." And this was at a press conference, and Mike Tyson said, "Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face." So we got this plan that we're going to enjoy life, that we're going to make a bank account, that we're going to, secure our means of livelihood, etc. And then all of a sudden, something out of the blue will come about. A lot of people woke up with COVID, realizing that everything can come to literally a screeching halt in a moment. And we've got more of that right around the corner. And when we realize that, and when we contemplate that, we do two things. One is we really pay attention to every day, every moment. We don't waste any time because we don't have any time. We don't waste any time. Even if we are doing some kind of trivial, or not trivial, what is it called? Menial service. We are realizing that maybe tomorrow will be, things will be, my whole life will be different tomorrow. So I better pay close attention to what I'm doing right now. As Adi says, one of the saints says, it's not great things that we do, but we pray to do little things with great love. And that's what devotional service is that whether it be making a garland or making $1 million, Krishna doesn't care. He could literally blink his eyes and have trillions of dollars be given to this movement. He could put a book in everyone's house. In one blink of an eye, there could be a Bhagavad Gita in everybody's house. But he's not going to do that. He's going to allow the devotees to do that with devotion. I'm sorry, I'm rambling on here. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bhima Prabhu. A wonderful point you made that things will come to an end eventually. Everything is temporary in this world, but we can draw two conclusions out of it. We can drift into this attitude where we think, oh, the sun is going to burn itself out, so who cares? So let me enjoy. That's one conclusion from the temporality of things here. And then the other conclusion is things are temporary, therefore let me engage in service now. And let me use every moment in service of Krishna while I still have it. So, yeah, we can go in two completely opposite directions, observing the same thing. I forgot what I was going to say. It was something nice. Oh, yeah. I talked to one devotee yesterday, and I was complaining about the market and the state of economy. And he said very casually, oh, the market has always been like that. There's always something coming around the corner. There's always some kind of calamity, some kind of war, some kind of virus. There's always something. It's never been a time where things are good. There's always something. Black Friday, Black Monday, always something. So, and Bhima Prabhu said the same thing. There's always something coming around the corner, always. So therefore, we should engage in devotional service. What's that in your wheelbarrow? Is that what's coming around the corner?
Yes, Prabhu. It's all horse shite.
Yeah.
And the purpose of our life is to get the horse shite out of our life, put it in a big pile, and move on with our day, hopefully in Goloka Vrindavan.
Exactly. There's always an amount of a poop coming from around the corner. Always. There's nothing new. It's always been there, always been like that. So therefore, let's just engage in service peacefully. We got everything we need to do service. Even when we're tired, hungry, hangry, we still crawl and serve like Adipusha Prabhu. Yeah, thank you so much for taking such good care of people around you, Adipusha Prabhu. We can feel Srila Prabhupada's love in everything you do. Truly, thank you. Just wanted to appreciate you. You're truly Srila Prabhupada's bodyguard, right? Anupam and I were watching this video. It's DVD 7. Time code is 1 hour, 39 minutes. You'll see Adipusha Prabhu walking right by Srila Prabhupada with a shotgun on his waist. He looks young and cute. Check him out.
He actually looks kind of studly. You notice he has his shirt off. He's got a hairy chest. He's in good shape.
Yeah.
And that wasn't a shotgun. It was a Glock. I believe it was a 45 on his right. This was after this was after, just kind of soon after the farm was raided by a motorcycle gang, and they shot up the place, tipped over the deities, everything like that. Actually had 2 devotees dig their own graves. But luckily, Radharani, that's another story I won't go into it, but luckily Radharani saved the day. Yeah, there was some wild. We can look forward to a wild adventure with Krishna. If we let go, Krishna will take us for quite the adventure.
Yeah.
It might not even be externally. It sometimes is internally. We'll go on a wild ride with Krishna internally, because after all, we have to go through the adventure of losing everything. Letting go, not losing. We should call it letting go, because ultimately Krishna won't take away anything unless we give it. Krishna really isn't a taker. He simply removes what we're ready to let go.
Yeah. There's a Vaishnava motorcycle club in New Jersey. Did you know? What's the name of the club, Chinmay Raya? Vaishnava Motorcycle. Yeah, Vaishnava Motorcycle Club. Look it up. Join with your horse, Bhima Prabhu. I'm sure they'll take you. Okay. Adipusha Prabhu, how did they choose you to be Prabhupada's bodyguard? Why you? Hold it. Unmute yourself. Chimayarada says that's because you're very active. They found the most restless devotee on the property and gave
He
him
was
a
from the
shot.
Bronx. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah. Why, Adipusha Prabhu? Tell us. Why you? But unmute yourself. Unmute, please.
The reason why they had him as the bodyguard is because they knew that he couldn't figure out how to use the gun and pull the trigger so that they would be safe. Just like he doesn't know how to turn on the mute button, turn off the mute button. So it's the same thing. It's like, give him the gun. At least it will appear like we have protection, but nobody will get shot because Adi will be unable to take off the safety.
Nice. Anything you want to share in your defense, Adipusha Prabhu? You're being wrongfully accused. All right. Give me more, he says. Give me more. Okay. Adipusha Prabhu, with all seriousness, we love you. Thank you for guarding Srila Prabhupada and his movement by being kind to people and by going this extra mile every time it's needed. Thank you. Okay, Hare Krishna. Anyone wants to say anything? Who wants to be the finisher? Karen, bring Annabelle and Isaiah. I want them to be the finishers today.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Do you have anything to say? We're just soaking it all in.
Great. Thank you so much. It's nice seeing you, ladies and gents. Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, and Vaishnavets. Hare Krishna. Have a